The Lantern-Keeper of Wren Hollow, a short story. Chapter 5. When the River Spoke. When the river spoke, the river's mouth opened, not in a roar or rush, but in something slower, like the unsealing of an envelope. A sound poured forth, too low to be called music and too soft to be mere water. It was the language of movement itself. Rustle, roll, return. The kind of sound that happens when the world decides, for a moment, to be patient. Anna froze. Every hair on her arms lifted. The air shimmered faintly, as if the frost itself had started to hum. Beside her, Samuel tilted his head. "Do you hear it?" "I don't know what I'm hearing," Anna whispered. "It's like—" She hesitated, searching for words. "Like a word that keeps changing shape." Samuel's eyes were fixed on the bend where the bright shape hovered, a soft column of light woven from the river's reflection and the lantern's glow. It pulsed in time with the button Anna had sewn into the willow's ribbon. Each pulse matched her heartbeat perfectly, and for a moment, she couldn't tell if her chest was echoing the river or the other way around. Then the light shifted. It leaned forward, taking form, not a body exactly, but the outline of one. Shoulders bent slightly from long listening, a brimmed hat, the faint hollow where eyes might be, the scarecrow's shape made not of straw, but of water and light. Anna took a step back. Samuel stayed where he was. The voice that came was layered, like several speaking at once, the keeper's calm tone, Samuel's steady one, and a third that Anna recognized with a small shock as her own. "We kept the path lit." The light's head inclined. Water dripped from the edges of its form, catching starlight like threads of glass. "The promise is remembered," it said, or maybe thought, because the sound happened without sound. The keeper's mark is renewed. Anna's lantern flared. The flame inside bloomed into blue, mirroring the ribbon tied above the button. The color spread outward, brushing through the air like ink dropped into milk. Samuel exhaled shakily. "Keeper's mark," he murmured. "That's what the longer arm of the star meant. I didn't think anyone alive still bore it." Anna glanced at him. "It's not mine." But Samuel was shaking his head. "Maybe it is now." The figure of light turned toward Anna fully, its face a gentle constellation of shifting points. It didn't feel like being watched. It felt like being known. "You carried what was unanchored," the voice said. "You mended what was frayed." Anna's throat closed. It was just a button. It was a story with work left to do. The light's shape began to waver. The rippling edges softened into the mist. As it faded, a faint glimmer remained at the base of the willow. Something small, silver, and solid. Anna crouched, heart still loud in her chest, and found another button. This one was different, metal, not bone. Engraved not with a star, but with a lantern. Its surface was faintly warm. She looked up, but the light was gone. The willows only swayed, whispering like satisfied listeners. Samuel touched her shoulder. "You should take it." It said, "Borrowed things come back with stories," she said softly. "This one feels like a story beginning, not ending. Then the hollow isn't done with you. By the time they reached the edge of the orchard, dawn was nudging the sky into gray. The lanterns along the path had dimmed but not vanished. They walked with the pair like polite escorts. The scarecrow stood where it always did. Frost silvered its sleeves, and the blue ribbon at its wrist lay perfectly still. Anna stopped in front of it. "You knew what I'd find," she said. The scarecrow did not answer, but the frost on its hat melted slightly, a dark patch forming in the shape of a nod. She slipped the metal button into her coat pocket and glanced at Samuel. "Do you ever stop feeling like you're trespassing here?" "Never," he said cheerfully. "That's how you know the hollows are still working." They parted ways at the church, where the fox weather vane yawned into the pale morning. Samuel tipped his hat and vanished down a lane that looked like it belonged to another century. Anna stood alone, her breath curling in front of her, and realized she was trembling, not with fear, but with the leftover electricity of wonder. She walked home slowly. Every window she passed held a small reflection of her lantern's light, each pane turning it into something slightly different. In one, it looked like fire. In another, like water. In a third, like a coin being tossed from one side of the glass to the other. At her cottage door, she paused, sensing before seeing that something had changed. The brass key still sat beneath the saucer, but tucked beside it was a folded note, the paper damp from dew. "Keep what the river returned. You'll need it when the hollow forgets. K." That night, Anna couldn't sleep. The metal button lay on her bedside table, gleaming faintly under the starlight filtering through the curtains. Every so often, it pulsed just once, a heartbeat of light, then went still. She finally rose, wrapped herself in a shawl, and stepped onto the porch. The orchard beyond was quiet, except for the soft ticking of branches expanding in the cold. Her lantern hung from the railing, unlit. When she touched the metal button, the lantern flickered awake on its own. A small blue flame kindled inside. Anna stared, half in awe, half in dread. "You've got to be kidding me," she whispered. The flame answered with a single, deliberate flare. A moment later, across the river, another lantern blinked alive, then another and another, tracing the pale stone path like breadcrumbs of light. The hollow was awake again. Anna tightened her shawl. "All right," she said quietly. "Then I guess we're not done." She stepped off the porch and started down the path, her lantern swinging gently at her side. The blue fire inside burned brighter, guiding her toward whatever waited beyond the orchard. And that brings us to the end of this chapter. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe, and tune in next week for the continuation of the tale. See you next time.